Hello yogis, my name is Debbie Lash and I'm your yoga teacher for today. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already, or give me a thumbs up or leave some feedback if you enjoy the practice. Today's practice is 60 minutes. It's for all levels. I'm going to offer a variation of a lot of the poses, so you just take what you want and leave what you don't want. If you have got blocks, I always encourage you to use them, and it could be helpful to have a yoga strap handy. If you don't have a yoga strap, you could run and get a hand towel, a tea towel, a bathrobe, a belt or a leather belt, just whatever you have. Shall we get started? Let's come into child's pose. Big toes touching, knees slightly apart, and we're just going to graze and snuggle our ribs down onto our thighs. Take a moment to pause here. Bow the chin to the chest, lower the forehead down to the floor, and if your forehead doesn't touch, bring a block or a book, a pillow or a blanket, and bring the forehead down just so you can find that connection to yourself. Some of you like to rock the forehead side to side here, just that feeling of connection to yourself. Let's just take a moment to stop before we start. Notice what's touching the floor, so the palms and your fingers, and start to press down through all 10 knuckles. Maybe your forearms are down, but maybe you want to press through the palms and lift the forearms up as you tiptoe the fingers forward, just creating a little bit more space and length in the arms. And then tune into your feet, so spread the toes, press down through all 10 toenails, pressing the shins and knees down as there's a gentle lift in the belly. One more cycle of breath wherever you are. And inhale, come up onto the hands and knees. Pause here, tabletop position, spinning the fingers back towards the knees. Some of you are going to pedal through, maybe the wrists feel a little tight. Some of you are going to take cat-cow with the fingers facing the knees. Others, you can turn the fingers facing forward. Lift the back ribs up. Find the imprint of cat pose. Maybe just circle around on the wrist 3 times one way, and then reverse it. And if it feels okay in the wrist, spread the fingers, belly drops, heart lifts, breathe in. Exhale, round and round. Cat-cow, asana. Find the rhythm of your own breath. Exhale, round. 3 more. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, round. Last one here. Inhale. Exhale, round and round. Good. Pause, spin the fingers facing forward. Maybe you want to stretch the top of the hand by standing on the top of the hand and just open and close, make a fist. And change sides. Feels really good. Some people find this really intense in their body, so just notice how it feels in your body. And in your own time, walk your hands forward, tuck the toes, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Gently press the left heel back as you bend the right knee generously, and then change sides. You could pedal through the feet a little faster if you like. Just finding length in the calf muscles and the hamstrings. But the most important part of this pose is connecting to the breath. Inhale, lift both heels high. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward and walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Hands on the shins, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, forward, fold and bow. Grab your elbows, drop the head. And just shift the weight into the big toes. And you can be super kind to your hamstrings by putting a generous bend into the knees. But the head is heavy, You're looking all the way up between your thighs, so the neck is long. Change the hook of the elbow so the other hand is on top. And then just a nice gentle nodding of the head, yes. Turning of the head, no. And releasing the hands down and unraveling the spine, coming all the way up into mountain pose, Tadasana. Step the feet together, cross your left leg over the right. So ideally, your pinky toes are touching. A generous bend in the front knee, your left knee, and maybe the right leg is straight. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, forward, fold, and bow. And if your hands don't touch the floor, grab your blocks or your books and bring your hands down to the floor. Inhale, tiptoe the fingers forward, finding a nice amount of space in the back, and then tiptoe the hands over to the left. I went to the right, but I meant to the left. Good, and again, a generous bend in the left knee, baby, the right leg is straight, and breathe into the right side of the body. Feels really good. Inhaling here. Exhaling here. Nice, one more cycle of breath, just like this. Inhale, walk the hands back through center. Bring the hands back. Unravel the left leg, flip the left leg all the way back, stepping into a high lunge. That's it. Pause here, hands on the ground or hands on blocks. So it's going to feel really good. Just lift the chest. Inhaling here. Exhaling here. You could drop the back knee down if that felt a little bit better in your body. So just notice how it feels and take care of yourself through the practice. Left hand down, right arm up. That's it, stay here. Hug and drive the right hip back as you lift the left knee and the left shin up and away from the floor. Good, lift the back heel. One more cycle of breath, listen carefully. We're gonna step back into Vashisthasana. Bring the top hand on the hip, drop your back heel down, step back side plank. So you could stagger the feet, and if that transition was too much, step the front foot in, the top leg in front. Top arm up, breathe in, lift the bottom hip. Arm up and over the ear. Think about the extended leg here is nice and straight. And be mindful of your transitions throughout the practice. Coming in and out of the poses is more important than the poses itself, and this is often when the injuries occur. So really be mindful. Notice your habits. The yogis call this a samskara, is the way you come in and out. Inhale, top arm up. Top hand on the top hip. Lift the top leg, step back into a high lunge. Nice, both hands to the ground. Lift the chest, inhale. Drop the back knee down, half splits. And again, blocks either side of the foot can feel good if the hamstrings are tight. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, tiptoe the fingers forward, and this right foot is generously flexed. Bow the chin to the chest so you feel the back of the neck lengthen. Hug the belly to the spine, and we've got this nice feeling of cat pose through the upper back. And squeeze your buttocks into the midline. One more cycle of breath. Inhale, bend the front knee. Blocks here again if you needed it. Tuck the back toe under. Slide the hands forward, warrior three. Lift the back leg up. Good, some of you are going to keep your hands on the blocks. That feels really good. Some of you are going to lift up. Think about the back leg. Lovely and strong, toes pointing down, and then straighten the standing leg over time. 2 more cycles of breath. There's a lift in the chest, feels like up dog. Inhale here. And then we're going to stand all the way up. Hope that was nice and slow. Pause. Hands on the hips. Step the right foot over the left. Generous bend in the right knee. Back leg is straight. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, forward, fold, and bow. Inhale, tiptoe the Hands and chest forward. Exhale, lean and walk the hands to the right. 5 cycles of breath. Breathing length and space into the left side of the body. Notice if you feel like me, probably sitting heavy in the heels. Shift the weight forward so you feel pressure through the feet and through the toes. Ujjayi breath if you're ready. Soft whisper in the back of the throat. Across the back of the palate. One more cycle of breath. Inhale, tiptoe the hands back to center. Walk the hands back. Pause, float the right leg straight back into a high lunge. Blocks or no blocks, inhale, lift. You can drop the back knee down if that feels better. And the chest is pulling away from the tailbone. Squeeze your buttocks into the midline. Inhale here. Exhale here. Good. We're going to take a gentle passive twist. Left hand down, right arm up. That's it. Stay where you are. I'm just going to spin around so I don't have my back to you. Good. Pause here. Look up. Find a single point of focus. I like to focus on my thumb here. Drop the back heel down. Some of you are going to walk the foot to a modified side plank. Some of you are going to step back. Good. Inhale here. Arm up and over. Exhale here. Imagine my hand underneath your bottom hip, lifting it up. Good. Squeeze the thighs together if the legs are stacked. Spin the chest, top hips slightly rolling forward. So we're building length in the side body, but strength front, side, and back body. Top arm up, top hand on the top hip, lift, bend the knee, step back into a high lunge. Can be a little sticky, that transition. Inhale here. Drop the back knee down, release the toes, half splits. Good. Inhale, lift the chest. Tiptoe the fingers forward. 5 cycles of breath. Have a look towards your left foot. Make sure the foot's flexed. Pinky toe drawing back towards your left hip, any amount. Arms are straight. Ideally, this left leg straight, but if your hamstrings are tight, just bend the knee. Remember, be kind to your body. How's the breath? If we're not breathing consciously, we're not doing yoga. We're really just stretching and exercising. Good. Inhale, bend the front knee. Tuck the back toe under. Lift up, warrior 3. And again, you can have your hands on blocks. Think about the top leg, toes point down. Some of you are lifting up into prayer. There's a lift in the chest like up dog or low cobra. Back of the neck is long, look down, maybe straight in the standing leg, any amount. Inhale here. Exhale here. We're going to stand all the way up. Pause. Take an exhale. Surya Namaskara A. Sun salutation. Certainly a lot of sun out here this evening. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, forward fold and bow. Half lift, breathe in, look forward. Step back into plank. Shift the weight forward. You could drop the knees here. Lower halfway down, pause and hold. Elbows squeezing in. Remember the knees could be lower here. And lower all the way down. Slide the hands back, low cobra. Point the toes with the knees. Exhale, lower. 2 more. Squeeze the elbows in, press them down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. If available, float the hands off the floor and you'll notice the front body drops. This is your true low cobra. Inhale here. Spread the toes, press down through the tops of the feet. Exhale. Hands on the floor. Some of you will stay with low cobra. Some of you are ready to peel everything off the floor other than your hands and your feet. Inhale, take a look to the right. Exhale, back through center. Remember, you could drop the knees here. Inhale, look to the left. I see you. Exhale, center. Inhale here, lift up and back. Downward facing dog. 3 cycles of breath. Inhaling through the nose. Open the mouth. Exhale. 1 more cycle of breath. Have a look at your feet. Make sure they're hips distance. Inhale, lift the heels as you look forward. Exhale, bend the knees. Walk or jump the feet up to the top of the mat. Half lift, hands on the shins or high fingertips. Exhale, forward fold down. Press down through the feet. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Option for a cactus arm, back bend. Arms up, hands at prayer. Good, we're going to take 3 more rounds of Syria A. I'm just going to turn so my face is not in the sun. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Half lift, breathe in, movement to breath. Step or float back. Vinyasa. You could stay with low cobra throughout the practice, especially if you've got a sensitive lower back. Arc and back, downward facing dog. 3 cycles. Have a look at your hands, spread your fingers, 4 fingers facing forward. Lift the back ribs up. Deep breath in through the nose. Big sigh out. Inhale, lift the heels. Bend the knees. Maybe you're ready to float to the top. Half lift, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. 1 more round. Inhale, both arms up. Option for cactus arms, back bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to prayer. Meet me in downward facing dog. You'll take the last Syria A on your own. If you want to skip it, meet us in child's pose or down dog and jump back. Energetically, it feels like you're pushing the mat forward and away from your hands as the legs and thighs are strong, pressing the heels down any amount. And don't worry if your heels don't touch the floor. It's just an energetic pressing down. Inhale, lift the heels. Walk the hands back towards the feet. So you're walking to the back of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands on the hips. Squeeze your elbow heads in. Press through the feet. Inhale, rise. Exhale. Step to the middle of the mat. Nice. Now step the feet wide apart for Pasarita Padottanasana. Good. So have a look at the feet. Ideally, when you lift your arms up, your ankles are under your wrists. So a lot of you at home could probably walk your feet a little wider. What I see a lot in classes is that the stance is too short. Good. Bring the right arm over the left. Eagle arms. Now, if this feels a little intense, you could take self-love here, or you could just bring the forearms together. Inhale, lift the forearms up. Exhale, forward fold and bow. And just stay right here. 5 cycles of breath. Notice if you're looking slightly forward, drop the head. And I always look at my feet here, and I like to shift away. Most of us sit in the heels, so the sit bones are back behind the heels, but we really want the hips in line with the heels, so shift the weight forward. There's that lovely feeling of cat pose in the upper back, the front ribs are hugging in. 2 more cycles of breath wherever you are. And pressing through the feet, inhale, float yourself all the way up. And exhale, release. So grab a block. I'm going to have one either side, either end of the mat. Put a bend into your right knee and rotate the foot forward. Triangle pose. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, hinge forward. And I'm going to grab my block for Trikonasana, triangle pose. That's it. Spin the chest. Press down through the right big toe. Drive your right hip back and then firm it in as you spin your arm up towards the sky. If this feels really good in your body, you can stay here. The shoulders are stacked. Some of you love the full expression of the pose. I certainly do. Pressing, I like to pick the back heel up, press it back, and then reaching through the fingertips. So you're lifting out of that hip. If you've got a bit more juice, some of you might even float that bottom arm up, and it should feel like you're holding a block or an imaginary beach ball.
And a little micro bend in the front knee is always a good idea. Good, bottom hand down, top arm up. Top hand on the top hip, look down, rebend the front knee, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. I like to keep a bend into the standing knee as I inhale, lift the chest, spin your chest towards my voice. Nice. Option, if you're feeling the balance is a little out, look down. Otherwise, option to take the top arm up and then press the weight into the heel of the standing foot, flex the foot and feel like you want to karate chop an imaginary wall behind you. Now, some of you are going to stay here because this feels plenty. Some of you are going to play with Japasana, kicking the heel to the buttock and then kick the foot up into the hand, shift the weight into the heel of the standing foot with the option to float the bottom hand up. Find the breath. Often when these poses get a little bit more challenging, we stop breathing, the mind wakes up, we start thinking about other things. Good. Bottom hand down, release the bind. Take your block with you, stand back into triangle if you've got it. Inhale here, exhale here, press through the feet, inhale, lift, bend the knee, parallel the feet. Good. Inhale, cross the left arm over the right. Exhale, Garudasana, so a nice stretch in the shoulders. Inhale, float the elbows up. Exhale, forward fold and bow. And again, just look at your feet, sit up the feet. Just check your alignment. Back of the neck long, belly hugging in. And again, you can bend your knees if your hamstrings are feeling really tight or sensitive today. And you're breathing. I know it's the obvious, but sometimes when the mind wakes up, we lose the connection to Ujjayi breath, the voice of the practice. One more cycle of breath wherever you are. Lift the knees and thighs up towards the hips. Press through the feet, inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Good, put a bend into the left knee, rotate the foot, inhale, arms up, straighten the front leg, triangle pose, pause here. I love to use the blocks, and I highly encourage you to buy some blocks if you haven't bought them already. It really just helps elevate the practice by bringing the floor to your hand. Take the arm up and over if that feels good. You can keep the arm in T-shape if that felt better. Press from the back foot. Some of you had a bit more juice today, floating the bottom arm up. There's that feeling of side plank here. All this work we do in side plank, that for these moments, this is kind of where we build the strength for this. Bottom hand down, top arm up, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana, look down, bend the knee, slide the block or your hand forward. Good. And just take a look before you move from here. Shoulder over the wrist. Spin the chest. Top arm up. If you practiced with me before, you should know this pose pretty well. I incorporate it a lot. And think about your side plank. Press down, lift that side waist up. Some of you are staying here. Some of you are taking Japasana, kicking the heel to the buttock. Now if it's hard to grab the foot there, which it actually really is, you can draw the knee into the chest, and I find that much more accessible. There we go. And then kick the foot into the hand. Have a look down at the grounded foot. Make sure it hasn't completely turned during that transition. I see that a lot too. And the more you kick the foot into the hand, it lifts that bottom shoulder up and away from the floor, helping lift the chest. Good. 2 more cycles of breath. Bottom hand down. Release the top foot as gracefully as you can. Step back into triangle. Inhale here. Exhale here. Press through the feet. Inhale, lift up. And bend the knee, parallel the feet. Good. We're going to play with a little bit of binding here. So, like I said earlier, a strap or a belt might be really helpful. You might not need it, but in case you do, I'm just going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so feet are a little wider than hips distance. Squeeze your elbows in. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, hinge forward. So we're in a much narrow pasarita. It's more of a forward fold. Lift your right heel up. Snuggle your right shoulder under. And if you can, you're going to bring it to the sacrum. Now, if this is hard to find the bind here, with the hands, grab the strap. And you can make it as long or as short as you need. And then over time, we play with pressing the right heel down. Drop the head. Notice if you're looking out, drop the head, look between the ankles. Lift your right shoulder up, your left shoulder up and away from the floor. You might even find space here. You might even at one point just be working with it, and you can release the strap and find the hands. That's it. 3 more cycles of breath. One more cycle here. And release. Half lift, breathe in. Exhale, forward fold. And then we're just going to play with the other side. So again, set it up with the strap if you need it. Lift the left heel. Snuggle the left shoulder under. And then reach that arm up. And again, you've got the bind here. And then once you've got your bind, with the belt or without it, with or without the belt, and then press the left heel down. And later in the practice, we're going to play with birds of paradise, but really, if you're working here and there's a lot of work here, the hands don't bind, then you're just going to stay in this position, and this is where your work is. So just notice how it feels now. Good, 2 more cycles of breath. Drop the head. And release. Good, hands on the hips. And we'll stand all the way up. You're going to stand to the top of your mat. Pause. I'm just going to stay facing you here at the camera. Option 1, tree pose. So standing on the left foot. So tree pose here. Option 1. Option 2, for my friends who like half lotus, you're going to pick the foot up. That's it, finding the balance. Good, and then just snuggle that foot. Now if you've got knee issues, this might not feel good, so go back to tree pose. Roll the shoulders down. Some of you might find a nice little half bind here. Good, 2 more cycles of breath. How does it feel? If the balance feels nice and solid, start to lift the gaze to the horizon. Find the breath. Soft whisper in the back of the throat. Good. 2 more cycles of breath here. Release the bind. Hand to toe pose. So again, a strap is a great idea here. Otherwise, some of you might just stay here working this hip. Others might find the strap. I'm just going to show you the strap just in case you have got one handy. You could even take this to the wall. So we're lifting up and then we're extending the leg out. Good, pause here. Imagine you're leaning into an imaginary wall. Some of you might even be leaning into a wall, which is great. Support yourself where you need to in the practice. Put both straps into the right hand. Inhale, lift. Whoopsie. And then we're opening up wide. Hug your left hip in. 2 more cycles of breath. Don't worry if you're falling all over the place. Maybe come back to tree pose. Inhale, come back through center. And if you've got the strap, just drop it. Arms up. Exhale, step the feet together. Pause here. Drop the left hand down. Lift the heel to the inside. Ankles and the hands inside the ankle. Kick the foot down. Dancer pose. So it looks like this. I'll just take a side angle for you. And a bit like Shavasana, kick the heel into the foot into the hand, hand into the foot. Lift the chest. Notice if you're toppling forward, lift that hand up to pull and lift the chest. 2 more cycles of breath. Inhale here. Exhale. Release. Pause. Let's take a half vinyasa, both arms up, breathe in. Forward fold, exhale. Just helps us connect back to the breath. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Press down through the feet. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands at prayer. Good, other side. So standing on your right foot. Tree pose for some. Remember, tree pose could be ankle, calf, or to the inner thigh. And maybe keep your hand on the ankle, roll the shoulders down to find your balance. For my half lotus people, you know who you are, and hopefully you're already there. I'm a little bit wobbly, so how are you doing at home? Good, and then pause. Wrapping the left arm back, maybe finding the inside of the arm. Press the knee down and away from the hip. Some of you may even bring your hands to prayer here, pressing the foot into the thigh. 2 more cycles of breath. So the balancing poses weave in, creating stillness of the mind. So they're really a wonderful way to prepare the body for meditation. Release the bind. Hand to toe pose. Some of you are grabbing the strap. Roll the shoulders down and extend the leg forward. Good, stay right here. Some of you like to put a hand out to the side just to find a little bit more balance if that feels better in your body. Otherwise, lift the heel open wide. Beautiful, how's it going? I always like to rebend the standing knee, keep the big toe plugging in, and then you can press up. Straighten the leg any amount. Come back through center. Let go of the toe, point the foot, lift that heel a little higher. Reach up, inhale. Step the feet together, exhale. Drop the hand down. Lift your right heel to the buttock. Bring the knees back together, squeeze the thighs and the knees together, and then kick the foot into the hand, and then lift up for dancer pose. Good, and once you feel a little bit more solid in the balance, start to lift the gaze to the horizon. 2 more cycles of breath wherever you are. And set the feet together. Inhale, both arms up. I hope that went well. Just release and let it go. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift, breathe in. Exhale, step back into plank. Vinyasa. Roll over the toes up, dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 cycles of breath here. If you need to take child's pose, wonderful opportunity just to take a moment. Remember, you can take breaks, skip poses, whatever you need for the practice. Inhale, float the right leg straight back. Standing splits, walk the hands back. And again, blocks could be good for underneath the hands. Some of you are going to keep 2 hands on the floor. Some of you are going to wrap the left hand behind the left ankle and then lift that top leg. Head is heavy, neck is long. The forehead's kind of heading towards the shin if that feels available. Good. Both hands to the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, walk back into 3-legged dog. Inhale here. Glide forward, knee to nose, round. See if you can play with the knee to the nose. 2 more. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Knee to nose, round. Exhale. Last one. Exhale, round. And warrior 1. Step the right foot next to the right thumb. Back heel down. Both arms up, breathing. Exhale, sink into the thigh. Good, and just think about what's happening in the back body. Most of us are in the back bend. Hug the ribs in, both arms up, and now squeeze your left buttock. Squeeze it in and sharpen the left leg. Inhale, sink into the front thigh, exhale. Some of you like to bring the hands in prayer. You can lift up and look up. Exhale, hands at prayer. Walk the right foot over to the left and open up warrior two. So ideally, heel to arch alignment. Inhale, sink into the front thigh. Exhale here. Notice if you're hinging forward, reach and even look to the back hand, and know that this back hand is opening your left ribs to the left. Good, sorry I wasn't mirroring you there. Inhale, hinge forward, hand on the inside, Parsva. And again, a block could feel really good here. Ideally, there's a connection between the back of the arm and the knee, and that arm guides that knee back. Rotate the top palm back, inhale, half bind, exhale. And some of you are going to play with a full bind here. And again, you could use the strap if you needed it. And then lift up, press the head back, spin and look up. And think about my hand resting on that top shoulder, just guiding and gently lifting it up and back. Take your mind's eye into the back foot, sharpen that back leg. 2 more cycles of breath. Inhale here, release and drop the bottom hand down, top arm up. Lift up warrior two. Reverse the warrior. And wiggle the hands to the floor. Pause here. Drop the back knee down. Walk your right foot over to the right. We're going to come play with lizard pose. And again, all levels are available here. So level 1, everyone bring both hands inside the right foot. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, you could stay here or come down onto the elbows. But if your elbows don't touch the floor, grab a book, a block, a pillow, a bolster. But ideally, I'm just going to spin round. But ideally, we're hugging this right knee into the shoulder. Some of us are staying here. Some of us are going to play with the bind here. So snuggle that right shoulder under. Make sure the knee's over the ankle. If you've got the belt and you're struggling to bind, you're going to use the belt. Some of you are going to keep the back knee down. Some of you are going to lift up into the full expression of bound lizard. Now lift the chest forward. And know that at any point, you can drop the back knee down and bring your elbows back to the floor. 2 more cycles of breath. Drive that right hip back towards your left heel. Lift your left shoulder. Inhale here. Exhale, drop the back knee down and come out of the pose. Good. Inhale, lift the chest. Half split. Exhale here. So option 1, you're going to stay in half splits. Option 2, Hanumanasana, full splits. So I like to use the blocks. Still working on this pose. This is really as a work in practice. Point the right toe to the floor. Some of you like to place the block between the back of the hamstring and the buttock. This feels really good in my body. I like to do this. And maybe you can lift the arms up. Don't worry if you can't lift the arms up. And just stay here with the breath. Close the eyes. Notice any sensations in the body, where that takes your mind and what comes up. Maybe a little frustration, maybe a bit of impatience. 5 more cycles of breath, wherever you are. Maybe play with pointing the toe to touch the floor. One more cycle of breath. And exhale here. Good. Just step the feet back. Blocks to the side. Downward facing dog. Lift up and back. So notice how that right hip feels now compared to the left, where you've just done all the work. Nice. Inhale, float the left leg back. Standing splits. Exhale. pause here. Some of you are hands on the floor, some of you are wrapping that right forearm around the back of the calf muscle, the ankle. And take your mind's eye into that top foot. Just point the toe, lift it a little higher, let gravity pull the head towards the floor. Inhale, lift the chest. Walk the hands forward, three-legged dog. Inhale here, glide forward, knee to nose, shoulders beyond the wrist. Inhale here, knee to nose, round. Last one, warrior one. Step the left foot next to the left thumb, back heel down, hug and drive the left hip back. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sink. I always like to walk my left foot over to the left. I like to have more space. You can almost see my feet are nearly as wide as the mat. Just I find it gives me more stability. And now squeeze your your right buttock in and stand strong into the back leg. Inhale, lift the arms, look up. Sink lower into the front thigh. 2 more cycles of breath. Hug that belly in, lift the frontal hips up. And exhale, hands at prayer. Walk the left foot back over to the right. Ideally lining up heel to arch. Inhale here. Exhale, sink forward. And another little thing I like to do to find the alignment is when I look towards my big toe of the front foot, if I can't see it, because for most of us that knee rolls in, it's about squeezing the left knee over towards the left pinky toes, because you want to be able to see your big toe. Inhale here. Exhale, sink a little lower. Good, reverse the warrior. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lift. Extended side angle pose. Again, grab a block. Maybe you don't want to bind. Some of you just half binding, which is great. Just working that top shoulder. Lifting and opening the chest. Those with a full bind, off you go. Relift the chest, sink. Roll that top shoulder. You're pressing your head back so it's ideally in line with your left hip, the back of the head. 2 more cycles of breath wherever you are. You'll notice my breath's got a little choppy here. How's the breath in your body? 1 more cycle. Release. Good. Lift up warrior 2. Keep that front leg bent. Reverse the warrior. Wimble the hands to the floor. Pause here. Drop the back knee down. Ardha Hanumanasana. Half splits. Some of us are staying here because this feels like plenty. Others are bending the front knee, right in the blocks, and then just walking and stretching that left foot forward. Point the toes, scissor the left hip back. Inhale here, lift the chest. That's it. Stay for 10 cycles of breath. I'm going to play with placing that block. I really like the feeling of that between the hamstring, back of the hamstring and the buttock. And close your eyes. Feel the pose from the inside out. Because this is what the practice is. It's an inside job. We get caught up with how the poses look externally, but really each pose is designed so you can find your edge and meet your boundaries and just observe how it feels. Good. 1 more cycle of breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Lift up and back. Good. Pause here. Child's pose when you're ready. So the shoulders are pretty open. Some of you want to stay in child's pose, and I totally get it. So just honor that. Others want to play with dolphin pose. Lift the back ribs, tuck the toes under, and then walk the feet up, and you're here. Some of us feel ready for headstand, and quite rightly so. We've done a lot of work and the hamstrings, the shoulders. So drop the crown of the head to the floor. Back of the neck is long. I like to bring the thumbs up the back of the head. Check that the elbows are in your eye line. And it feels like dolphin pose with the head on the floor. Your shoulder heads are lifting. And you're just going to lift up. Remember, you could take this to a wall and play at the wall. But stay for 10 cycles of breath or as long as it feels good. Find a single point of focus. And keep pressing down. Notice what's touching the floor. So sides of the hands, the forearms, the elbows. Press down to lift the shoulder heads up. Roll the inner thighs back. And when you're ready, come down the same way you come up. Everyone take child's pose. Just feel the pose resonate in the body. Really, I love the headstands. They bring a sense of calmness. The heart doesn't have to work as hard because the head is below the heart. And when you're ready, come up. A little bit of core always goes a long way. So swing the legs out. Feet are hips distance. Little walk the heels back. Hands underneath the hamstrings. Some of you are just going to lift up and stay here. And this feels really good, balancing on the backs of the sit bones. But if you want to take it a little deeper, arms reach forward, pause. One more step on. Lift the legs, pause. Just stay here. Lift the chest towards the thighs. Adhanavasana. Inhale, lower back lowers, shoulders are lifted. Exhale, lift up. And you could bend your knees here, or you could even have your hands on the floor. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And 3 more. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. 2 more. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Last one, inhale, lower. Exhale, lift the right leg up. Flex the feet. Inhale here. Exhale, lift, and convince those shoulders to get a little higher. Maybe start to circle the wrists here. Inhaling here. Exhaling here. Inhale, lower the right leg down. Take the left leg up. Exhale. Pause here. Inhale here. Convince those shoulders. Exhale, lift. That's it. 3 more cycles of breath. At any point, you could bend the bottom leg, put the foot on the floor. Inhale, left leg down. Right leg up. Exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, lift. That's it. Inhale, right leg down. Exhale, left leg up. Remember, if your neck is sore, you could have the hands behind the head. You could even lower the head all the way to the floor. Inhale, left leg down. Exhale, lift up into Navasana. Good. 2 more cycles of breath. Inhale here. Cross the legs at the shins. Step, step back into plank. And lower down onto your forearms. Beautiful. Inhale here, lift the back ribs up. Look at your feet and then shift your shoulders forward. Just still feel that lovely residue of where all the core's been. Inhaling here. Exhale, lower down. Sphinx pose. Walk the feet together. Inhale, lift the chest. Some of you are going to keep the forearms on the ground. Some of you want to press down and lift up. One more cycle of breath. Exhale, lower down. Good. Pause here. Actually stack your hands, lower the forehead to the floor and bend your knees. So the forehead's to the hands, so the back of the neck is long, walk the knees together. Press your pubic bone and your hips down so you can inhale, lift the knees and thighs up. Exhale, lower. So this is wonderful for strengthening your lower back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift up, stay up, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Pause here. Dhanurasana. Reach back. Grab the ankles or your feet. Walk the knees back together. Soften the forehead down. Good. Find the pubic bone in your hips. Press them down. Inhale, lift the knees and thighs. Flex the feet. And then you're going to peel the chest up. Good. Squeeze the outer knees in. Stay here. And some of you like to rock here. Breath. It's really nice for shifting the energy. And lower down. Pause here. Windshield wiper the legs. And you've got the option for one more with the opportunity to roll over on your shoulders. So I've offered this in a few classes. Those who've practiced with me may have done it with me actually in a private or a class. Good, so press down the pubic bone and the hips down. Inhale, lift, peel the chest. Good. Some of you are staying here counting for 5 cycles of breath. Some of you are going to come with me and then roll onto the right shoulder. Good. Keep kicking the feet into the hands, hands into the feet. That's it. Kind of feels a bit playful. Good. Inhale, roll back. Exhale to the other side. How's the breath? Inhale, come back through center. And release down. Good. Child's pose, up and back. Ooh, it feels really nice on the lower back, just to stretch out the sacrum. Forehead to the floor. Inhale through the nose. Big sigh out, exhale. Inhale, come up into tabletop position. We'll drop our sit bones to the ground. And we'll pause here. Lengthen the legs out. So Dandasana, hands either sides of the hip, is the blueprint of all seated poses. So every seated pose is built out of this pose. So let's take a forward fold first. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. So some of you might land your hands wherever you land. Some of you might want to strap, and actually you could sit upright here, which feels really good if you're wanting to look for more hamstring there. And then some of you can maybe clasp your hands behind your feet, bringing the forehead down towards your shins. Roll the inner thighs, flex your feet. I actually like to do this to bring a block on the soles of my feet. It just really helps me to snuggle in. Just check in, back of the neck long, a little lift in the belly, and find the breath, most importantly. So we're really in the cool down, last part of the practice, swimming our way to shavasana. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, release. Option 1, both hands underneath the right knee. We're going to play with shavasana. It feels like a seated tree pose. So for my tree pose people, this is probably the best option for you. Hands on the ribs, so you're aligned with your straight leg. Inhale, lift. And again, you could play with the strap, you could grab the foot and spin the ribs. So that's option 1. Option 2, half lotus with their leg extended. So pick the foot up, maybe a little rock here. And any pain in this knee, skip this pose, do shavasana. Flex the foot, inhale, both thumbs up. Exhale, maybe you can grab the foot here and just stay here. Again, there's a little spinning of the ribs. So even in shavasana, find a subtle twist here, spinning your right ribs to your left thigh. And this can feel pretty intense on the thigh with the foot pressing down. So focus the exhale into where it feels tight. 2 more cycles of breath wherever you are. Inhale lift. Walk the hands back and just be mindful how you come out of the pose. Exhale. Release. So again, other side. Shavasana for some. Half lotus for others. Flex the foot. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold and bow. Two more cycles of breath wherever you are. Inhale, lift the chest. And release. So our final pose, either Sukhasana, this is a really nice hip release. So Sukhasana, cross the legs at the shins, flex the feet underneath the knees ideally. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Or for my half lotus friends, I lift up the right foot. Maybe a little hip opener here. And more here. You could stay upright. You could even support yourself by hands behind the back. And this feels really delicious in my spine, just finding length and lifting up, as well as a deep hip opener, or humbly bow. Stay here. Keep the sit bones on the floor, whether you're in Sukhasana or this half lotus. Lengthen the chest forward, inhale. Maybe tiptoe the hands slightly forward, exhale. Just creating more length and space in the body. Notice the sensations, where that takes your mind. Where can you soften? Maybe the jaw, wiggle the jaw. Notice if the teeth were pressing. Soften the tongue, pull it down from the roof of the mouth, and maybe just release the eyes. Sometimes the tension isn't in the body so much, but it's more in our mind. So just observe how the body feels, how the mind feels, and find that mind-body connection. Again, be mindful as you come out of the pose. Change the cross of the legs. Sukhasana or half lotus. Pause here. If your knee in this pose is all the way up, I would suggest just sitting upright and snuggling it down. You could even place a block underneath the knee. My leg used to be all the way up here, so don't feel discouraged if you still feel like you've got a lot of work to go. Just remember, this is a practice of a lifetime. Inhale, both thumbs up. Exhale, forward fold and bow. Maybe walk the hands back a little bit so the sit bones snuggle down. And then inhale, pull the chest forward. Tiptoe the fingers forward. Bowing chin to chest. Just taking a moment to bow to yourself for showing up today. Hopefully you've stayed with me throughout the practice. Bowing to your body for doing all the work as it does day in and day out. And bowing to the practice of yoga and all the benefits it brings us both on and more importantly off the mat. Walking the hands back. And release. Coming into the most important pose of all, shavasana. You need to take a twist or a happy baby before Shavasana, be my guest. Actually, if there's any pose that you want to take, try not to do a handstand before Shavasana because your energy's settled. But if you do want to take a twist, you could take a little twist here just to release. Just ask your body, what does it need? So you can snuggle into Shavasana without any more moving, twitching. Really just trying to find stillness. So take your final pose if you need it. Otherwise, set yourself up for the most important pose of all, Shavasana. If you've got a sensitive lower back, you're going to walk the feet as wide as the mat, let the knees drop in. You could stay here. You could extend the legs straight. You could put a block under the calf muscles. It feels quite nice. I quite like to do that. I'm going to do that actually. So if you've got blocks at home, maybe you're going to try this. It's always nice to try new things because sometimes you try them and it's a real game changer. Take a deep breath in through the nose and a big sigh out. Let go of the practice by letting go of the breath and return to normal shallow breathing. The eyes should feel soft, throat is soft, belly is soft. Your shoulders feel heavy, your arm bones feel melting in towards the mat. If you want to stay in Shavasana, please honor your practice. Turn the screen off. You just stay here and really invest in yourself, and an extra bit of self-care can go a long way. Nice, wriggle fingers and toes. Lifting arms up and over the head as you breathe in, taking a full body stretch from your fingers all the way down to your feet. Exhale. Knees into the chest, giving yourself a well-deserved hug and a big squeeze in. And rolling to the side. Take a moment to pause in the fetal position. And when you feel ready, press down. Come into a cross-seated position. And just take a moment to pause. Feeling the effects of your practice. Noticing the shift of energy. Mentally in the mind, emotionally, how do you feel? Physically in the body. Most importantly, the connection to the conscious breath. And sealing in all that magic by bringing hands to heart center, bowing chin to chest in gratitude. Shifting the prayer to the third eye. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thanks for sharing your practice with me. Humbly bow. Namaste.
Welcome back, yogis. Thanks again for letting me lead you in your practice today. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Feedback is always helpful for other yogis looking to practice. And if you're in a position to donate, donations are greatly appreciated, and you can find my Venmo details and PayPal details in the description in this class. Namaste. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening.